This is Social Justice Warrior Leadership Program, and I'm Reagan from Highlands Ranch High School, and I am the moderator for today. This is Samantha, who is the founder of Platform, and our speaker today is Pauline. Hi, Pauline.
Hi, Reagan.
What is your job at Platform?
So currently I am working at a corporate office, and I'm a national account rep for Vistar. It's a very boring job, but that's what my current, and then I also, I help out with Platform once in a while, whatever Samantha needs. So actually Samantha is my aunt, and I do help her out with anything that she needs for Platform. But currently my title is events coordinator with Platform.
What is your passion in social justice?
My passion for social justice would have to be, there's many different issues, but any type of injustice, I think that really fuels me. And that's exactly why when my, oh, I'm so sorry. Hello?
Yeah, you're online, but your video is not showing, Pauline.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's perfect.
Wait.
You're back.
Can you guys see me?
Yes, your video is online, yeah. You're off again video-wise. Okay, there you go.
Her mic is also off.
Your mic is off, Pauline.
Okay, this is like a horrible setup. Okay. So, wait, the question, okay. So originally, especially with social justice, I would have to say my personal passion is just like the marginalized group, whether it's honestly like any marginalized group. I think that really, like I said, does fuel something in me. I remember when I went to a mission trip for school, and our grade, we went to go to Thailand, and we had like I'm sorry, I'm like getting multiple calls. Can you guys see me?
No, Pauline. Can you just continue to speak even if the video's not on, since we are recording?
Yeah, I'm sorry. So then what's happening is, like, when we went to Thailand, we were helping out a lot of orphanages there, and we were speaking to the people, the pastor specifically, who was part of just like helping out the kids there, and just to see so many people, and that, I think that was one of the trips that really inspired me to fully, like, it put a fire in me, and a kind of almost like an anger that just allowed me to be more open minded, or not open minded, just like open my eyes to just some of the injustice in the world, and also how many people, especially in Thailand too, there are a lot of issues in sex trafficking. So I think there was just a lot of different issues that stirred something in me. And like I said, everywhere, it doesn't matter honestly where you are, there is a lot of injustice in this world. Even just looking at our news, politics, the climate right now in terms of the Black Lives Matter.
Pauline, when you say passion though, I'm curious. One person does not have energy to address all those issues.
Exactly, right.
So if I say what are the top 2 social issues that impact you the most, what would be the top 2 right now? Don't put too much thought into it. What would the top 2 be?
Probably a lot of, gosh, that's so That's a good one.
Well, think
I
about
would
that. Actually, let me ask Reagan. If there are two top issues right now, Reagan, what would those two be?
I would say the top two issues that I'm passionate about right now would be Black Lives Matter and I can't think of another one right
So
now.
that would be the number one thing that you want to focus your energy on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, coming back to you, Pauline, what would be the top two?
For me, what really, like, I would say, like, a lot motivates me actually to have, to put my energy towards something is probably the inequality that's within so many
But that's
spaces.
general. In terms of
Oh,
the
just like it
audience, yeah, like if
specific.
there was a community, the two top communities that you think there's inequality, what would the two be?
I would have to definitely agree with Reagan about Black Lives Matter.
So that's
That
one.
definitely that
Okay.
hits home with me. That also, I would also say, probably, this sounds so bad, but anything that is affected by what's going on in like the international life, a lot of the homelessness, not homelessness, but yeah, homelessness and just like people who are just struggling, whether it's like food, like poverty. That's like probably one of my number one passions.
Okay.
Like
So Black
poverty.
Lives Matter, and basically we're talking about poverty on an international level.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Reagan, both of you, I'm curious. How would you guys define passion? Because we just talked about it, but I don't know if we have the same understanding of passion, what passion is.
I mean, so before, I was doing a little bit of research and just kind of reflecting on myself in terms of this word passion. And, as a 25-year-old young woman, I guess, well, not really young anymore, but
yeah, according to grandma, you're 40, so you're not even 25.
Yeah, it's like an ongoing joke, but I would say the passions, it's well, definitely it's like an emotion or something that's like an intense, like something that energizes or drives you, and this can be an interest or feelings, but I think passions are kind of like feelings, and over time I've actually realized that my passions have like changed, or they are still within me, but sometimes there's more an emphasis on certain passions, if that makes sense.
Well, I don't know. Reagan, does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand that, and I would agree with some of what you said.
Some, but not all?
Yeah. Well, I also agree that it's an intense desire or a feeling for something that you care about or are really passionate about, that you're willing to put yourself out there for.
Why do you I'm curious, because I apologize for asking the questions, because I've been always curious. In the American context, people ask, what is your passion? That is like the number one concern of parents for their children, of teachers for their students, right? Why is there so much emphasis on this idea of passion?
That's a great question.
Because in Korean culture, I should tell you, Reagan, the reason why I say it's American culture, in Korean culture, we don't ask, what is your passion? We ask you, what kind of job do you want to get, and what kind of partner will you have? Because those two things either bring shame or honor to your family. So they're very practical. Like, Which job are you going to get that will bring you a lot of money and reputation? What kind of partner will be able to support you and take care of you?
Mm-hmm.
But in the American context, usually the pressure is on to find passion. Because normally in America, we assume passion will give you meaning in life. It will make you very happy in life. It will give you the reason, purpose to get up each morning. So if you don't know your passion, then you're screwed.
Yeah, it's really frustrating because I think society and of course certain cultures emphasize this more, but I think it defines whether you fail or succeed in life if you find your passion or not, and if you also succeed in your passion. And I think it's very frustrating because it puts this pressure that's like, how do I say it? Like, especially for me, I'm also still struggling, you know, to fully find out what I'm supposed to do for the rest of my life. And I've come to realize that that is always forever changing. And also the environment, because I'm a huge believer in like, or just like a big believer in that your environment has a lot to do with shaping who you are. And so the passions that come with each phase of your life, because like whatever you're going through, especially when you're like a teenager, certain music or something that enlightens you during that stage. And then, you know, the next stage is to figure out, oh, are you going to get married to this person or not, or to have children or something like, and even people like in the work field who, you know, it's easy for mothers or women just working out there, and, you know, they get looked down upon because, you know, they're working and their passion or their interests aren't for their children fully, like all, you know, like all specifically towards just their children. And I think it's very frustrating because no matter what stage of life that you're in, I seem to run into very similar or constant conversations that are out of frustration that, oh, I don't know what's next in my life. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing or what I should be doing. I want to do something, or, you know, just a lot of frustration, if that makes sense, because of this standard or whatever.
I'm curious, Reagan, do you get that? Ask that question, what is your passion?
Yes. Since I am in high school, I feel like there's, like Pauline said, a pressure to figure out what you're going to do in life, and that there's a right or wrong way to figure it out, or what you're going to do with the rest of your life.
And this is this is why I've asked my nieces and nephews all the time, what is their passion? And the reason why I've asked that question, Reagan, is because two parts. One, I was so scared that my nieces and nephews will be pressured to fulfill their family dreams. That their parents, because it's Korean, will tell them, this is what you need to do. Become a doctor, become a lawyer, become a business corporate CEO, and then never explore what they want in life.
Yeah.
So for me, it was counteracting the narrative that my family was going to pressure my nieces and nephews, my brothers and sisters. That's the first part. The second part is I truly believe, I still believe, that people have some potential and that they will ultimately serve multiple communities in life. Because I don't think there's one passion that'll serve you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I agree.
But what I realized in asking people that question is, it scares people. What if I get it wrong?
Yeah, I think that's a problem.
Like right now, Paul, my niece is working in a place Are you passionate about your work?
No, I'm not passionate about what I'm doing right now.
And so she feels, do you feel like you're in the right place at the right time right now in your life?
No, I don't think that at all. But then at the same time, it's a good or interesting point that you bring up, because I recognize that, you know, like people like you were saying, oh, what if I get it wrong? You know, then if that's the case, it's like saying the people who, I'm not gonna say this, but like people who believe in soulmates. If you find the wrong person, it's like, oh, I'm screwed for life, you know? But that's kind of like the thing, you know, like that's not how it works. It's like you gotta, for me, I've been learning more and more while I'm just going through life. It's that it's all about embracing the good and the bad that comes with the path that you're on, or the path that you decide to choose at the time being, you know. And you are dealt with a lot of choices, and I think it eats, if you think about it so much, it's going to eat you up alive, because you're going to constantly think, oh my gosh, you know, I could have done this. What if? And all these, you know, different options or dimensions that you want to go into.
Reagan, did you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question for you, Pauline. Do you think your passions follow you as you go through, or there's opportunities that can lead you to a different passion that you might have? Is a passion something that can lead you to, or is a passion that you just know that you have? Does that make sense?
No, that does make sense. I think that's the thing is with this question, I feel like personally, if I had to choose, I think, I mean, naturally it is a bit of both, but also if I had to pick a certain way, I do think that the passions almost follow you, because like I said, you know, if it just, a lot of it, well, for me, has to do with my upbringing and the environment that I was around, and the things that I was exposed to at the moment. And I remember, like, when I was in high school, I was like so into fashion and makeup and all of that, and those are still like my passions. But I realized, or I actually recognized that although while those things do energize me, and I have like a huge like love for those interests or passions, as you want to call it, I realized there's a lot of different things or people that I've met throughout my life that have definitely changed or just like not only opened my eyes to something new that I would have never seen myself doing, or just like introduced me to an idea or a place that just allows me to grow certain skill sets, and also like just recognize like, oh wait, I didn't realize I liked doing that, or that I want to do that, you know. So I think I would have to say like mostly I think passions do follow you, and sometimes for certain people I get jealous of people who just like know exactly what they want to do from like such a young age. They're like, yeah, I've always wanted to be a doctor, or I've always wanted to go do this. And I'm like, I have no idea. I don't have that for me. And for me, it's mostly been like things that I'm drawn towards in the moment or through life where it takes me.
And I want to say a couple things to that, Reagan. Number one of the things I've noticed is because we're in America, we're just so focused on passion. People with money are able to expose their children to everything. They take them to piano lessons or violin lessons. They introduce them to sports. They introduce them to all different kinds of drawing classes, or even tutorials on particular topics. parents who are educated encourage their kids to become involved in clubs, Girl Scouts, all that. That's a very privileged mentality. If I expose my children to like 20 different things, maybe one of them would trigger a passion. Now, if you're not privileged and you don't have money, I grew up extremely poor. We did not have music. I couldn't participate in sports because God forbid that we spend more money because we didn't have money. We only had money for food. Third thing is my parents were uneducated. So they didn't know that you're supposed to encourage their kids to become involved in student council, to become involved in chess or journalism and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is when you say pursue passion, it's like after I've been exposed to 20 things, what is my interest? Well, what if you've never been introduced to 19 of these opportunities because you didn't know about it, or your parents didn't have the money. They didn't know, they were not educated to encourage their children to pursue these things. So that's one level. The other level is only people with money can pursue passion. Meaning, let us say that I want to become a tennis player.
Yeah.
Do you know how many lessons I need to have? Not only that, once I go to college, someone has to support me through college if I don't get scholarship. And after I graduate, in order to be able to go to all these events, they have to be able to fly me, book a hotel for me. I have to get an agent. All of this requires money. Even, what is that, the skier, that Korean American, Chloe?
Oh, yes.
Chloe.
Yeah. It's
Her
Chloe
father
Kim.
had to quit everything, or is it mother, and basically follow her everywhere. In order to be able to do that, someone with extremely deep pockets should be able to support you to pursue your passion. So if you don't have the money, if you don't have the opportunity, then you're screwed. Are you then not allowed to pursue your passion? Or if you have to support your children, work 9 to 5, Pauline has to support her siblings. If she has to work all those hours and she never gets to pursue fashion, then we're saying, I'm sorry, Pauline, you're going to live an unhappy, meaningless life. And if you definitely don't find your soulmate, you're just going to be a very sad person. That's the narrative that the American culture is throwing at you. When they say, you need to find your passion, you need to pursue it, and if you don't, you're going to be unhappy, and you have no purpose in life.
Yeah, and there are many people that are so unhappy. And that's the thing, like, it is a luxury to be able to have not only the time and resources, but it's like, it's kind of like this kind of brings up, Maslow's hierarchy in terms of what needs are met. Because, like, for example, people who are living in poverty, people who don't have the resources or just don't even have that first need met, because for me, I think the passion really is directed from what do you want your life to look like, or what kind of a life do you want, or how do you picture yourself having your life. But even before you get there, a lot of people, they're still like busy trying to put food on the table that they can't even think about, and like it is like partially, I would say a lot of people are constantly just like wanting to have, especially in the American culture, it's like the American dream. But I think that's really, it's frustrating because I would now, like, through my own experiences, that's just not realistic, first of all, the American dream for every single person. And second of all, it's like when you have no money or time and resources, like you were saying, like, you can't think about having like, if you don't even know that there's music, you know what I mean? That's insane that someone would not be exposed to something like that, and they wouldn't realize that they were actually gifted in something like that, you know?
But
And
the
you see, uh-huh.
but the big question is this. Are we asking the wrong question?
I
Meaning,
definitely think so.
Reagan, can you sort of summarize the video for some people who in the audience who might not know because there was a YouTube video that we watched
Yeah.
via TED. Reagan, can you sort of give a summary of that YouTube discussion?
Yeah, sure. So we watched a video about Terry, who is speaking about passion and your purpose, and how there's a pressure to find your job. And she got laid off from her job. She started calling people. She felt like she had no purpose anymore. She needed to find something to do. She lost her motivation in a way that once she got a job that she felt was lower than her credentials or than what she was supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
It actually led her on a different path that opened up more opportunities, and it led her to a different way of something she never thought that she would be interested in, and she's got to experience and meet these new people that she didn't know that she could have done this if she had just stayed at that job. Yeah.
So what she's saying is, rather than saying, what is your passion? A better question is, what can you do right now to serve the issues or community that you want to help? So it's not saying, find your passion. Is it sports? Is it tennis? Is it that, is it trigonometry, right? We're not saying focus on a subject or a topic or a job.
Yeah.
What she is saying is, especially within social justice,
Yeah.
which
Especially
community do you want to help, and figure out how you could help right now. And if it's not money producing, in other words, it's not an associate job, then do it as a volunteer basis while you keep your job, so that you're not trying to figure out this like one plan that will save you from misery.
Right. Yeah.
Like right now, like what opportunities do you have? Pursue it. You might learn it about something that you're like, this is where passion falls. You might realize while you're doing the work, oh my gosh, I really love marketing. Oh my gosh, I really love teaching. And it's at those moments, just like, but the bigger question for social justice people is, to what end am I teaching? To what end am I marketing? To what end am I doing this fashion? And that's the most important part, is ultimately, what community am I serving through what I am passionate about?
Right. I definitely appreciated Terry's perspective, because I think that is something that really needs to be more advertised everywhere, because I just think that, like you said, or even, it's really, really frustrating when it's kind of like, it also like just blows your self-esteem if you're not, and that's not what you want to do, and that's not what you want for yourself. And I think that's why it's really great that, that video was something that we were supposed to like watch. I think truly, especially in this field, social justice, it's hard because a lot of people get so discouraged, and it's very hard when you think that like the time and effort that you put in towards certain things gets overlooked because you're not fulfilling something that the world says that you're supposed to.
We're going to be talking about redefine what success means in social justice work. We're going to be talking about what hope means, because they're all connected.
Yeah.
Reagan, you've been shaking your head. You have some final comments or something, or questions?
Yeah, so in relation to the video, I was thinking as I was watching it, you need something to motivate you. What what motivates you to keep following your social justice thing that you care about? What is keeping you going to help
Mhm.
the cause that you're trying to help? And why? Why are you trying to help it? Why do you care so much to help
And
it?
Reagan, I think you're asking a very great question. We have a couple more minutes, but let me sort of, because it's ultimately connected to your value system. And this
Yeah.
is to what end is connected to your values. One of the things we have to do is understand, what do we believe in? What do we value in society? And how is that connected to my philosophy, my ethics, my spiritual, my religious upbringing? Because that's where the source of our value is our family and religion, our philosophical worldview.
Yeah.
And what keeps us in the grind work, from what we talked about from last week, what Miss Jones was talking about, like, you suffer. And actually the word for passion is from Latin word pati, which means
Yes.
suffering.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
primarily within the Christian context, we're talking about the suffering of
Yeah.
Christ, the passion of
Quite. Yeah.
Christ. So the idea is not you'll find happiness and joy and finding a passion. It's actually you have to be able to want to suffer for it. And so the
Yeah.
question is, are you
Yeah.
willing to suffer for money? Are you willing to suffer for fame? Are you willing to suffer for power? Well, that's your value system. But
Mhm.
within my value system, I'm willing and wanting to suffer for uplifting people who've been sort of oppressed. Because
Right.
within my value system, I absolutely believe that everyone is a child of God. You see that?
Mhm. Yeah.
And now what allows us to persist through the suffering is that what? It's in line with my value system. And the moment in which
Yeah.
it is not aligned with my value system, you will fall apart, you will get depressed, and you will not be able to continue with the work.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. That's so true. That's so true. It's easy to just give up um, something like, for example, it depends on how deep it goes into what end, like you said, because this is an example, but like when you have tennis as your passion, there's only, in my opinion, there's only so much you can go and so deep that you can go with a passion like that versus something that's very deeply aligned with your values.
But I want you to think about what you just said, Pauline. Serena Williams is very passionate about tennis. But to
Yes.
what end does she play tennis? And if you ask her, yes, number one, competition. She wants to win. Number
Yeah.
two, she'll say money. But you know what, more importantly, what she would say is
Mm.
to give women equality within sports.
Yeah.
More
Right, right,
importantly,
right.
be a role model for young women, black women. So in other words, tennis is a means, and to what end
Yeah.
is
Right.
equality for women, meaning equal pay,
Mm.
exposure to young black women to be able to be engaged in a sport that was for all white people.
Yeah. And I think that's very beautiful that, especially as Serena Williams can do that. Like, I think that is so encouraging. And I think that's what, a lot of people, they get so burnt out, especially in social justice, at least,
Mm-hmm.
when lots of people, and just like, even for her, just specifically off of that example, a lot of people, there's so many things coming at her, so many
Oh, she gets attacked
people,
right and left.
yeah, doubting and judging. And, you're also conflicted with yourself too, because there's like this whole system that you're going against.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that as she's using tennis to be her platform,
Yes.
to speak out about an issue and
Absolutely.
to make her point known and to encourage other people that they
Yeah.
can
And
just persevere through it to overcome those challenges.
So final comments. I'm just going to say one thing. You guys could say one thing as well. The one thing I want to say is this. not everyone needs to go out and protest, go out marches, and so on. One of the things you need to figure out is what are your strengths and how can you use your strengths fueled by your passion to reach a goal that is consistent with your value system. I don't want people to leave here thinking, oh my God, if I don't have my passion in line, then I am screwed for life. That's my biggest concern. What I would love you to do is figure out, hey, what opportunities are presented to me, whether you're poor, rich, black, white, right?
Yes.
By pursuing these opportunities, you'll learn whether you like something or don't like something. And when you find something you love and you feel the fire within, then maybe that is your passion. And so it does follow you as the windows open up. I would hate to believe that kids who are poor and don't have the opportunities are never pursuing their passion because they've not been exposed to everything. Because
yes, I think,
life doesn't work that way.
No, unfortunately not.
So that's my final comments. Reagan and Pauline, do you have your final comments as well?
Reagan, go ahead.
I think that being a leader in social justice means you need to take some chances and to put yourself out there. And if it doesn't work, find a different way. There might be more than one solution or pathway that you can follow to get to the point that you want to set goals and to encourage yourself.
Excellent.
And I think, I appreciate all your questions, Reagan, and your thoughts. Sam, I do believe that everything, especially just life, is such a crazy journey that to have just one way and say that that's the right way and based on who you know, like that's too many. It's like a whole Pandora's box. And I think, like you said, being in the present and just that's the one thing that you can control, because there are so many things that are outside of your control beyond that. And I think that especially within the social justice, in that area, I just feel like a lot of people should not be discouraged, and especially just everyone in general, whatever stage of life you're in, because lots of it has to do with comparison and what people tell you how it should be. So I think whoever listens to this, or if what platform does for people is that we all have a platform, you know, and it is really up to us and how we want to use that platform.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
This concludes this session of the Leadership Training Program.
Yeah.